Hey guys, this is Brian,
Susan, and Dave
from 3-Player Co-op, and you're listening to a podcast specializing in sports, life, and shenanigans, the Modern Maverick Podcast. Check out our podcast on iTunes. 3-Player Co-op, proving that while 2's a party, 3 helps you get things done. That wasn't bad.
Oh, it's time for another episode of the Modern Maverick Podcast with the Maverick, JFlynn. Life, sports, shenanigans. Let's do this, fuckers. Oh, shit. It's that time of week again. Time for another episode of the Modern Maverick Podcast. Coming at you live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm your host, the Modern Maverick himself. Sitting in front of me is JFlynn. What's up, buddy?
¿Qué pasó, señor?
¿Qué pasó?
What's going on?
Hey, man, we got a lot to talk about this week. Made some notes, but yeah. So we're going to talk about this old UFC 177 fiasco that happened last night.
I think that's the official name now. UFC 177 fiasco.
Cursed or fiasco. I was planning on doing a UFC 77 preview, but now it's changed to a rant about many things wrong with the UFC. And there was a perfect example yesterday during the whole fiasco.
Yeah, man.
We're going to talk also about I got a request yesterday from one of our listeners. I'd like to do a shout out early in the podcast today. A shout out to Vinny No Filter, one of our listeners, listens to all our podcasts. He's a huge fan. A shout out to Vinny. We were discussing yesterday on Facebook, and he asked me my top 5 realistic UFC fights that I'd like to see. Ooh. So maybe you can think about it, and we'll talk about it later on the podcast.
Yeah. Where's my notepad?
Yeah, right down here. You can write it down. I got some Post-its and some stuff there.
Ooh, nice pink paper too.
Also going to talk about my simulation theory that I had last week.
Oh, shit, I forgot the tinfoil hat.
Yeah. My experience that happened to me last week that makes me believe more and more that we are part of a simulation. And also other shenanigans that we're going to discuss. So let's kick it off. This week, we're still sponsorless. So anybody out there that's looking to sponsor anybody, we'd love to have a sponsor. Anybody, anything. You got a business, you got anything. I'm sure we can work something out. It doesn't have to be cash related, but anything. So give us a shout out at info@modernmaverick.net. For more info, check out our website at www.modernmaverick.net. It's a beautiful Saturday, and summer is still here, I guess.
Yeah. For now, that's good. Yeah. Labor Day weekend, man. Has the summer flown by or what?
It's amazing. September 1st already. Is it?
So the 1st will be on Monday? Sunday,
yes,
whatever.
That's right.
I don't count the dates on the weekends. It doesn't matter anymore.
It's kind of retarded that we're already in September.
Yeah, I've realized this year that
shit.
Taking my vacation later, not a good idea because first half of summer, you're looking forward to your vacation. You get your vacation, and it was like middle of August by the time it was done. So next year, I think I'm going to vacation earlier on. I think that might.
What's good about vacationing early, I find, from the past, is that you go on vacation, and then when you come back from vacation, it's still summer for a long time.
The entire summer, exactly.
When you go late into the summer, you come back from vacation, and within a week or two, you're like, "Fuck, it's not." Mm. You know, it's back to school already. My son's starting his first day of kindergarten next Tuesday. It's gonna be emotion-filled day, especially for his mother.
Yeah, I've noticed everyone was posting their Facebook pics of their kids going to school. One of my friends actually followed the school bus the entire way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not that crazy. Actually, the school, you don't even have to take their school bus. The school is like right across the street. It's like a 2-minute walk from here.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I could just look at the corner and see the school from here. So it's crazy. Anyway, so happy Labor Day weekend to everybody out there, to our listeners. And like I said, we got a lot of shit to talk about. I want to bring up something that we spoke about last podcast, and before I forget, and it's about the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I swear to God that I'm not gonna Sorry, I'm not going to take much of the time on it. It's just because I read an article and it was very interesting. The article had some very good points, and it was in Maclean's, which is Maclean's is a Canadian magazine.
Yeah.
And they had this article called "Why the Ice Bucket Challenge is Bad for You." And so you can check it out at this article on Maclean's, and basically what it was saying about it basically was calling it a marketing gimmick. And I think we covered this grandly last week, but it made some good points about slacktivism. And
love that word.
Yeah, and how here's interesting points from the thing. It says, as a result of the ALS Association has received more than 70 million so far. So this was early last week. So you can imagine there's $70 million right now. Compared to, you know how much they made last year?
15 maybe?
$2.5 million.
Wow. Only 2 million. Okay.
Compared to only 2.5 million during last year's campaign. I don't remember any campaign, so I'm sure that every year, every foundation and everybody has a campaign. You know, ALS, cancer. You got prostate cancer now with the Movember, everything. So 2.5 last year, $70 million this year. So one little gimmick, and all of a sudden your earnings skyrocketed. And the thing that basically the article made a good point about where the money was going and how the ALS, I mean, to me and to a lot of people, ALS is not something like we discussed about last week. It's most people don't even know what ALS is. You say Lou Gehrig's disease, people know what it is. But if they call it ALS, they're like, couldn't even explain to you what ALS is.
You know what it stands for.
That's right. So I think to people that it affects, where family members or people they know have ALS or have been diagnosed with ALS or passed away due to ALS, I respect that. I respect that it touches them and everything. But to the other population, the article makes point that it basically bullies people into donating money to a cause that might not be, like, maybe a lot of people seem to save money up every year and then they donate a certain amount of money every year.
Yeah.
So I find that the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge kind of forces people, if you're nominated, you're basically forced to donate either way. You're either forced to dump a bucket of ice on your head, right, and donate, or not choose to do the challenge and have to donate $100. Yeah. So I think it's a great point that there's so many other organizations, and I think that the gimmick concentrates so much on just giving to one foundation, and I think there's so many other causes that need money as well that aren't highlighted towards gimmick like this. Yeah. We kind of forget about maybe the other ones that affect way more people. Because I don't want to belittle the ALS cause, but per capita, it's not the most, I wouldn't say popular, but it doesn't affect that many people compared to every other cancer, heart disease, and stuff like that, which is not a reason not to donate. But I mean, it's not like the ALS Foundation is doing bad or they are in need of so many donations.
So what you're saying is more people need to die to deserve donations. Is that what you're saying, Steph?
I think that's what the article was saying, but I just think that a point needs to be made that donations should be made by people to foundations or causes that are closely related to them or that want to donate to. If I want to donate to cancer because cancer killed 3 people in my family, then I'm going to donate to cancer. If I want to donate my money to kids because I have kids and I think, hospitals and kids hospital need money, I'm going to donate my money there because I think it's important. I think the whole gimmick forces people to donate to something that they would maybe not be. Yeah. They seem to be maybe they might feel obliged to donate to a foundation that maybe they would have. Because let's face it, a lot of people don't have that much money or loose change to donate 50, 60, maybe 100, even more. So anyway, that's my last point on the ALS bucket challenge. That's it. I'm not going to talk about it.
I got
anymore.
a heads up. I'm getting challenged this week.
Are you?
Yeah, apparently.
Is it the last week though? I thought it was only for the month of August.
Then he'll be too late. Yeah, well, he's already broken the rules because he's exceeded his 24-hour deadline. Already, I think it's been a week since he's been challenged himself. So when I do it, I'm challenging you. But yeah, you're right. If it ends in a day,
I thought it was like a monthly thing.
Because I know he's not going to do it this weekend. That's for damn sure. He's too busy dancing.
So somebody got.
Dancer.
So if I understand correctly, somebody got challenged
last week. Has not stepped up to the plate yet, and he gave me the heads up yesterday. Oh, when I do it, I'm challenging you. But like you said, if it ends at the end of August, well, you're too late.
It says, during July and August.
Suck it.
So it's like, it's been almost 2 months now, I guess.
Anyway, charity should come from the goodness of your heart, right? It should come from, charity. I'm sure it has to do with the Greek or the Latin meaning of charitas, which means from the heart, whatever. But you know what I mean? You shouldn't be forced. It shouldn't be gimmicked and challenged upon people to donate. But that's where we are. We touched on this last week. That's where we are in the world right now. This is the place we're at.
It's pretty crazy. Anyway.
You can thank Facebook.
So what have you been up to this week?
This week, I had a miserable week at work. Hated my life.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Wanted to put my head through my computer screen.
Bad week?
Yeah, one of those. And watched a lot of movies. Watched some bad movies.
Bad movies.
Avoid Premium Rush. If you see it on your Netflix feed, avoid Premium Rush.
Let me think. Is that the one with the bike?
Yes.
In New York City?
The bicycle courier.
With what's his face?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
And it is 90 minutes that you will never get back. So avoid it.
It was on the Movie Network a few months ago, and I caught maybe 10 minutes of it. I'm like, this is garbage.
What a crap of shit.
This is garbage.
A crap of shit. That's how bad it was. It was a crap of shit, apparently.
We spoke about Neighbors last week. Remember?
Neighbors, like Neighbors, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
Neighbors.
catch it?
I watched it last weekend. Oh my God, my girlfriend nearly pissed her pants.
There you go.
I'm not spoiler alert, but
that's a good thing.
That scene where the lactating scene.
Yes.
Oh my God, my girlfriend was losing her shit. Yeah. We might or might not have been under the influence of a little, but it was fucking hilarious. That whole scene. There was a scene before and a scene after, but that scene of the lactating one was pretty awesome. That was a pretty funny movie.
Yeah,
it wasn't something I'll rewatch again unless it's free on the movie networks. Like I've watched The Hangover 3 like maybe 10 times already, just because it keeps playing. They keep playing it. Same thing with the.
I can't watch my TV. That's why.
Yeah.
I usually just go to on demand. I can't stay. What's the point? I'll flip it through. What's on? Commercial break. Fuck it. I'm like, you know what? Let me use this on-demand thing. Dude, that's the only TV I watch. Otherwise, it's
gonna come.
A laptop.
It's gonna come soon enough where this whole you're not gonna have to sit through these commercials at a certain point. We already have the PVR. A lot of people PVR their shit. They get
I forget
home
the
and
PVR.
watch.
Everything is my problem.
Yeah. Not only that, but a lot of people use Netflix. A lot of people use on demand. But at a certain point, like. If you look at commercials nowadays, they try so hard to be catchy, to be funny, because
they try to be their own little mini TV shows.
Because holy fuck, every time there's a commercial, like every man, it's like, oh, commercial, let's see what else is on. Drives my girlfriend crazy. She's like, why can't you wait the 4 minutes of the commercial and just leave it there? I'm like, because I don't want to see the fucking commercials. No. When's the last time you saw a commercial of food or anything and you went, you know what? I want to fucking get up and get that product. Do you remember? Because every time I see a commercial, it makes me think.
No, I don't remember that.
How do commercials actually work? Because for me, with the internet nowadays, if I want to buy something, I just go and do my research on the internet.
Yeah. You know what I do get? I get tempted by those home hardware commercials where they have like their special tools that are only available at home hardware. Yeah. But I've never ever even stepped into a home hardware. I don't know where these stores actually are in this province. But yeah, sometimes, hey, that's a cool laser level, or that's a cool looking mop with the ringer and everything. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go buy it, but it looked interesting.
Do they have home hardwares in Quebec?
I'm pretty sure they do. I think there's one in Laval, I remember. I remember
seeing one. I know that when back home where I'm from, it was in my city, it was the only hardware store for the longest time.
Home Hardware, though.
Right.
Home Hardware.
Home Hardware.
home hardware over
it's
here.
but then again, if I see a car commercials, like I see so many car commercials.
Yeah.
It's all cars, Toyota, Honda, Ford.
I don't know about
I'm
your
not gonna
lifestyle, but I'm not buying a car on a monthly basis. So
Not only that, but if I want to buy a car, I'm not going to go, hey, that's a pretty nice commercial. I'm going to Ford right now.
I love that song. I'm buying that car.
Like, I get the idea. Oh, that's a pretty cool feature that they displayed, but I'm still going to go online and you're buying a fucking car.
Yeah.
It's not spontaneous. I'm not like,
You're not trying a new flavor of gum this week. You're buying a car.
get your purse. We're going to buy a fucking Ford Focus because it parks itself. Look at that shit. Fuck all the other research.
Remember
I
when
was
you
gonna
couldn't
do?
pass your driver's exam unless you were able to parallel park?
Yeah.
Now the cars do it for you. What does that say? We've just given up. Fuck it.
I
Too
remember,
many people said, fuck it.
but so many people suck at it.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm awesome at parallel parking.
Yeah, me too. I've become a pro over the
It's
years.
like-
But I remember my first time downtown, people sitting on the terrace, as we call them here in Quebec. And those are terraces for our non-Quebec listeners. And yeah, they're staring and laughing at me. It took me about 3 minutes to finally get it in the spot.
when you
And
were
when I
doing
did,
your
the
course.
people... No, this was like my first time taking a car downtown
Oh,
at
okay,
Parallel
yeah,
Park.
yeah.
And then I got the old sarcastic applause, slow clap for everybody on the terrace.
You get out, you bowed.
Yeah, I think I waved, tried to play it off. What do you want? I was still a kid. But yeah, now parallel parking is pretty
You think
easy
about
thing.
it. I've been driving since I've been 16. I had my license when I was 16. I've been driving since I've been 16. It's almost been 20 years. So it's like everything is so
second nature
automatic.
now, right?
You remember when you got your license the first time and
Yeah.
when you drove by yourself the first time?
I almost hit a cyclist.
Oh, shit. But you remember how
In my
it's-
defense, he was crossing at a red
Oh,
light.
well, you know what? Fuck him. If it was his fault.
If it was his fault.
Hey, we didn't cheers, by the way. I
Oh
bought
yes,
some-
yeah, we got some, back to the whiskey.
Yeah, I bought some whiskey today for the studio. So cheers. Yeah, I remember the first year that I was driving on my own. Every time I asked my grandfather for the truck, I'm like, "Can I borrow the truck?" And he'd always say yes. I'm like, I'd get in, I'd start it, and I'd back up the driveway, and then I'd leave. I'd be like, man, I'm fucking driving by myself. It's so cool. I'm driving.
Yeah.
You know, I could just drive and be
That
so
was
cool.
great. Made a mixtape, popped it in.
I didn't even have a tape on my
No
grandfather's
tape deck.
truck. It was just the AM radio.
AM, what?
No FM.
Jesus.
AM radio.
What were
I
you
didn't
driving?
listen
A
to
Model
anything.
T?
It was a Ford 1986 Ford Ranger.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was the first truck I drove. Drove that till I moved out. My grandfather still had it, and yeah, I didn't drive anything else, but it was awesome. I had a little pickup truck and stuff, and I just remember the joy of driving. For the longest, I enjoyed driving. Now it's like I still enjoy driving,
Yeah.
but it's like, ugh.
Well, it depends. You buy yourself a new car, and that's what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I drove the same car for about 10 years, finally got a new one, and it's like, hey, I enjoy driving again.
Yeah.
Because there's been, quite the improvements made over the last decade, I think, within cars for what you can get for your money now.
It's retarded.
But remember when you were
technology.
young, and speaking of these little joyrides, you'd pick up your friends, you'd all chip in like $2 for gas.
For gas,
That's
yeah.
all you needed?
I remember gassing.
Christ, $2 will get you nowhere these days.
I remember 1996. There was these gas wars going on back home where because it wasn't like here, it wasn't really regulated, so every independent gas station could basically put the price.
We saw that a lot here too.
I remember, no joke, no kidding. I remember gassing at one summer. The competition was so crazy that the prices were so low. I remember gassing at 29 cents.
29
a liter.
cents. My God.
29 cents. $5. It's like half a tank.
God damn. You could drive around the entire island. Oh, no,
You
wait,
know?
you didn't live on an island.
No, but still, you know what I mean? I drive the truck all weekend, and then all I have to put in was like $10, $15, and it'd be back to full.
That is,
29 cents. Now it's
that's sweet.
$1.40
I put
average.
$20 in the other day, a day and a half ago. I'm already on empty, apparently. Where'd it go? Where did the
I put
gas
$20.
go?
It doesn't even give me a little bit more than a quarter tank.
Yeah, especially you driving an SUV.
SUV. It's not that bad though. It's still a 2-liter engine. It's a shitty engine,
It's a little one, yeah.
But imagine if I drove like a fucking Mustang or one
Yeah,
of those.
I
big
can't believe I
feed-
still see these people driving their Hummers and Mustangs and Chargers and fuck. How much?
When
does
you
it
have
cost?
money, I
how
mean-
much does it cost you to drive to the grocery store?
Probably like $10 every
Like
time.
every round trip is at least $10.
That's retarded.
Wow, if you can afford it.
Fuck it, right?
Fuck it.
I'm sorry. If I could afford it, I have a fucking muscle car.
That's a good T-shirt slogan. If you can afford it, fuck it. There you go.
Well, that could be construed as many things if you can afford it. I can afford a lot of things. I can fuck.
Well, there you go. It's called a double entendre.
Oh, look at you using the big words.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, man. So that's my
it's crazy here.
on
I'm on the news here. I see an article. It says there was a man found dead in a car on the plateau. Now, this is not amusing. However, I do find it amusing that they describe it as a suspicious death. You don't think, Captain, a 29-year-old man is dead in his car.
Is that
in the middle
last
of the day.
week, right?
This morning. 11:30 in the morning. No kidding, it's suspicious. 29-year-old men just don't die in their cars parked on the street. Obviously, there's something suspicious
either
there.
suicide or
I don't
murder.
know. Foul play, murder, overdose. I don't know.
Where? On Saint Laurent?
On Désirable between Laurier and Masson.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My stomach's making all kinds of growly noises. I hope the mics aren't picking it up.
Are you hungry?
I didn't think I was. I might be. I'll just have to drink more.
It's all that boozing you did yesterday.
Yeah.
What's that? So you went to a house party last night?
House party.
When's the last time you went to a house party before last night?
It's been a while.
How was it?
It was okay.
Is it a packed house?
It was on 2 apartments, actually. The neighbors are friends. So they had
an apartment building?
Yeah, apartment building, like a triplex, quadruplex, whatever you call them. And it was all right. It was chill. People in the backyard. One guy, DJing in a room with 2 people dancing.
So it wasn't like everybody in the kitchen, like those.
No, and then you went in the kitchen to make your drinks, and of course that's always where everyone ends up in between crossing over. And
I remember when I was young, you'd have house parties and everybody lands in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well,
it's like, hey, and you just lean in and you're like, hey, all of a sudden you realize you're 15 in the kitchen. You're like,
a kitchen party.
Can we fucking go anywhere else? Yeah. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah. Well, that was what we kept saying. Like, fuck, it's hot. Go outside. It was all right. I mean, a bit of a younger crowd. These after-hour EDM kids. Well, not all kids. Some of them, are 28, 29.
But people in their 20s now are kids, right?
Yeah, we're in our 30s for crying out loud. We're old men. That's, you know what? Just to show me and Matthew at the end of the night, we were cleaning up.
Oh, we
cleaned up outside. I was like,
before you left,
we did. She's like, my God, thank you so much. I don't know. It's like second nature. I don't know. I can't see a mess. Oh, I'm too old for messes.
That's when you know you're old, when you're cleaning up at a house party before you leave.
So there
Let me clean up for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, let's pick up. Let's be polite. I didn't bring a gift basket, so.
I remember last time I went to a house party. I mean, I've been to parties.
Parties amongst friends, but they're not house parties per se.
Like a house party of somebody you've never known,
Yeah, exactly. I knew one person at this party.
I remember when I was in college, we went to this house party we were invited with this friend that we knew, and my buddy that I was with, he picked up, and all of a sudden I lost him. I was by myself. There's a shitload of parties and stuff. And quick story, and he's gone. I'm drinking with the girls and with the guys and stuff. There's about 50, 60 people in the house, huge house. About 30 to 40 minutes later, he fucking comes bolting down the stairs. He's like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here.
Ooh.
I'm like, the fuck, man? So I'm like, oh, fuck. He's like, yeah, dude, we got to get out of here. So we run out to his car. We're drunk, whatever. That's back in the day, right? We get in his car. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's like, dude, I picked up this chick. You saw me with the chick. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? It's like I went upstairs. And, we started fooling around and stuff. And she got on top of me and she fucking threw up on me.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. She's like, I got to get out of there. I had to get out of there. I'm like, she just threw up on you? She's like, yeah. She was starting to ride me and she went, and then just, I'm like, dude.
That sucks.
I washed up and I just got the fuck out of it.
No
I'm
fucking kidding.
Fuck, man.
You want to hear my craziest...
Shitting me?
Are you shitting me? Are you puking?
Are you puking?
My craziest house party story. This goes back about a decade. My buddy takes me to a party. Nobody I know. The people who live there, I don't know anybody there. It's his university friends. A friend of a friend even. He's not even that close with the person throwing the party. So we get there, and he had a reputation back in the day, getting a little licked at parties, and then you're almost his babysitter at a certain point, right?
Oh, shit.
But in his defense, this was not his fault. He goes to the bathroom, and it's one of these shitty plateau apartments that are run down, old as fuck. And the doorknob on the inside of the bathroom. As he tries to exit the bathroom, the doorknob falls off and falls into the toilet as it was flushing.
No.
Yes. So he has trapped himself in the bathroom. Now, he thought that the doorknob somehow got sucked down, but it was just stuck at the bottom. Had he reached, he would have been able to pull it out.
Yeah.
But I guess, who wants to stick their hand down a fucking toilet, right?
A stranger's toilet.
A stranger's toilet on the plateau, no less. So he goes, everyone, back away. I got to break out. And he kicks the door open to exit the bathroom.
No.
Well, roommate of the girl throwing the party discovers this and is none too happy. So she gets up. She is pissed off, and he's trying to explain. It's the doorknob. It fell. It's flushed down. She's going, how did the doorknob fall and flush down the toilet? What are you, fucking retarded? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm on the couch chit-chatting with some new friends for the moment. The friendship would not last.
Yeah.
So I try to mediate and kind of calm down, diffuse the situation. That did not work. The chick, after I say, hey, what's going on, guys? It's okay. He's chill. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. She goes, who the fuck are you? I'm like, oh, I came with him. The guy who fucking did that. I'm like, oh, no, So.
Guilty by association.
So basically, she was drunk as fuck. She slaps me in the face. Well, half slap, half punch. And I'm like, oh, that was not necessary. And furthermore, after saying a little bit, she goes for my nuts and tries to knee me in the nuts.
Way.
At that point, I blocked and out of reaction, kind of cocked my fucking fist back. Oh. And I was like, oh, wait, no, this is a chick. Like, I know she's punched me and tried to kick me in the nuts for only trying to defuse the situation. I did nothing wrong here as far as I know. And and I was like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here before I end up knocking out a fucking chick.
So you guys skedaddle out of there.
So I told her to fuck off. I think I knocked over her shoe rack. It's like, in the movies, and it's like, oh, knock something over so they can't chase you because, the library shelf will somehow, keep the murderer, serial killer, stalker from getting to you because, oh no, there's a shoe rack on the floor. So I kind of did one of those and was like, fuck you, I'm out of here.
And you walked out.
And we left. And we sobered up. Then we sobered up in the car. Never saw any of these people ever again. But that is the only time I've been physically assaulted by a woman, and I did not strike back.
I find that hard to believe.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
I haven't been. I haven't been around that many women in my lifetime to get hit that much.
Assaulted by many women, not many, but a few women.
No, I've usually,
me and my temper.
I'm a polite guy. That's why I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do.
It's weird, huh? Right? I remember the first time a girl
was like, whoa, guy, kind of was like a deer in the headlights. But then when she went for the nuts, it was like, whoa, bitch,
dude, don't do that.
Whoa,
fuck that.
I
remember I don't remember. I remember how I felt the first time somebody slapped me. A girl slapped me, because you're like, what the fuck?
Like
just
straight
happened?
up like movie slap, like it was like.
No.
One of those.
I remember getting slapped once where it's like it ringed for like minutes. Like, wow, my ear. Like she kind of caught like the end of my ear, like
worst.
right here. So my head didn't like really pivot because there's not much give when the deeper you get the slap. Like right here, it's not like here where your head just goes like that. Yeah. And I remember going, wow, like what do I do? Like, because if a guy slaps me, it takes about half a second before I start punching you in the face, or or the shit hits the fan, and it's like we're fighting.
Why have you been slapped by men?
No, I hope
you've never been slapped, right?
No, I've been slapped.
That'd be weird.
I've been hit by men. I've been kicked, hit, punched, never slapped. But women
takes
don't
off
slap
the glove,
me.
like in the Bugs Bunny cartoons.
I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, you're like what?
Let's keep this. I got another story. Last one. I remember going to a party once. It was like a chalet party, and it was about 30 minutes from our place. We were like, hey, I guess there's a party. We weren't 100% sure. I think it's around here. Let's just get in the car. We got nothing to do. It was a Friday night. Let's just drive there, which is about 30 minutes from our hometown. We're 5 in the car, 3 in the back seat, 2 in the front. We drive up there, and 4 good friends, and one guy that was with us was also a good friend, but he's like the guy you just described. Like, you give him a few brewskis, and all of a sudden you lose track of him.
All of a sudden he's like going through the guy's record collection, you know, and he's like, oh, here's a song, and he's only playing tracks 20 seconds at a time before he skips the next one. You're like, what are you doing?
So we show up we finally found this place. And we show up. There's a shitload of people in this chalet, and it's on the side of the water right there. So somebody at the party or in charge of the party says, "Hey, we should start like a fire on the beach." We're like, "Hey, you know." So we knew a few people. Was like, "Yeah, we can take care of that." She's like, "Okay, no problem." So she's like, "Just go to the beach, and there should be wood there. Just use that wood, and then just put it there. They won't mind people around. Don't worry, people know we're having a party. We do fire on the beaches all the time, you know. The water comes up, don't worry about it. All right, no problem. So we get there, we walk to this spot where we thought we had on the beach. We're like looking around, we're like, fuck, there's no wood. Man, what the fuck? So we're looking around. We're like, well, let's just go back to the chalet. Maybe she was wrong or something. Well, that per se friend, I'm like, where's this guy? I don't know. So we get back to the thing. She's like, nah, the wood is there. Just look, you know. So we come back and he's there piling on some wood. I'm like, oh, okay. He found some wood. And he's like, I got more. He's like, oh, okay. So for some fucking reason, we didn't ask to help. He looked good on his own.
He looked very productive.
So he'd leave minutes at a time, come back with like 2-3 boards. We're like, that's some weird wood. It's not like chopped wood. It was like boards,
like,
you know,
2x4s,
like 2x4s and stuff. Painted and stuff.
Painted.
He just piles it on.
He's taking apart somebody's deck.
We found like some brushes and stuff, so we kind of stuffed it underneath, and we just started the fire and stuff. And we're there, and people start piling around the fire, and we're there. I'm curious. I'm like, I don't think I had something. I'm like, there's something wrong here. I said, I don't think we got the right wood for this fire. All of a sudden. And then about 30 minutes or an hour in, fire's around, people are around drinking and stuff. And then I hear this guy, he's like, hey, he comes running. He's like, somebody took apart the deck from the neighbor. And I look, I'm like, where's our friend? He disappeared. He was gone. No. He had fucking wandered off to the neighbors. He's like, fuck this. He pulled apart the deck, huge planks. He would come walking with planks. He just fucking threw him on the fire and he fucking started. Needless to say, we fucking found everybody and we had to like sneak away from there because like, dude, we're gonna get killed. You know, there was some jocks and a lot of big dudes there. We're like, dude, we got to get the fuck out of here. We're outnumbered and people don't like us right now. Jesus. You know, so he took apart the deck. And I went to see there was like 6 or 7 long 2x4s missing on the deck, you know. No. He had taken apart it was like a 2-step. He had taken apart the step completely. There was no more step. Half the deck was missing. I was like, oh my God. People were freaking out. So I'm like, needless to say, we didn't bring that friend ever to any more parties. We fucking burn away the neighbors.
That's definitely a notch above anything I've ever encountered as far as
I'm sure
crazy things.
I'm sure I can think of crazier things, but
you crazy Maritimers, you.
Well, we do a lot of those though, like beach parties and stuff like that. We don't have that.
And beach parties.
You know,
there's no beaches here.
Yeah, we had a lot of beaches. We just gather around the beach. Somebody would build a big fire, and nobody would bug us. The cops wouldn't come. It was, you know, you get between 60 and 100 people sometimes on the beach, and just people drinking and having a good time. But sometimes things get out of hand, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what happens.
Drinking and driving and stuff like that. And I don't think they do that anymore, you know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. And I want to check something. Yeah. I'll make sure we're recording.
Yeah, let's.
Fuck, man. Remember that time when we recorded and I had to scrap like 30 minutes?
That time never happened.
We never happened. Yeah.
I don't know what
am I talking about, man?
Never happened.
Something I want to talk about, so that I posted on the board, not on the board, but on the Facebook page, and it's my little experience that happened to me last week that makes me believe that we live in a simulation. Oh, and shit. So take out your tinfoil hats, motherfucker. This is the hippie part of the podcast right here. Put the weed down, motherfucker. And I gotta put the weed down. But I've been reading a lot about the simulation theory and about how some people believe that we live in a simulation based on a lot of things. I posted a link on the Facebook page called 10 Reasons Life May Be a Computer Simulation. Mm-hmm. It's from a website actually that you showed me. It's called Listverse. I remember you talking about that.
Oh, that was on Listverse,
yeah,
really?
It was on Listverse.
Oh, I missed that one.
And here's my experience, and it's one of many that I've experienced through the last few years that made me go, sometimes you have a coincidence. Let's define coincidence. To you, a coincidence is, let's say we're talking about somebody right now.
Yeah.
And then tonight I go out and I meet that. I
Sure.
go across that somebody. I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. Me and JFlynn were just talking about you today.
Yeah.
That's a coincidence. Mm-hmm. That's normal because the chances of me running into that person are, I wouldn't say high, but very likely considering that we run around the same circle or somebody we haven't seen in a long time.
Sure.
Now, what I experienced last week was far more unlikely to happen.
Okay.
Sometimes you get those, sometimes you're sitting on the couch and you think of somebody and that you haven't thought about in years.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden you either get a message from that person, you get a phone call from that person. Has that ever happened to you?
To a certain extent, sure.
Yeah. So here's my experience, which I think overlaps the coincidence. It goes way over the coincidence.
Blow my mind.
So
I am ready.
last week I was at my in-laws, and I get to my in-laws for dinner. My girlfriend's outside playing with my son. I sit down, I turn on the TV, and it's they have this channel that plays old sitcoms and stuff. And the Cosby Show is on. Now the Cosby Show is I love it, but it's one of my girlfriend's favorite
And
all-time
then Rudy
show.
Huxtable showed up for dinner.
Yeah, that's it. She showed up at our house. She called me. She wanted to go on a date. No. So we're watching this episode. Number one, the episode that's playing is the first ever episode.
Oh, wow.
Episode 1 of season 1.
Oh, my,
that's
okay.
playing, and it's a very memorable part. Have you ever watched the Cosby
Yeah,
Show?
don't ask me to remember the pilot episode, but yeah, I used to watch the Cosby Show, sure.
It's very not important scene, but very popular scene where Bill Cosby's sitting down in Theo's room and he's giving him a speech, and then it goes on and on and on. And my girlfriend comes in and I said, hey, you missed that part. I said the Cosby Show was on. And my girlfriend's like, oh shit, can you get that channel at home? I love that show. I want to watch it.
Okay.
If it plays all over, because it was playing 3 or 4 episodes in a row.
Okay.
So I said, nah. And I started looking. I said, we don't have that channel. I said, it's one of those channels that's only on Bell.
Uh-huh.
My in-laws have Bell. We have Videotron. I said, I don't think we have it. I said, but when we get home, maybe I can look to download, or maybe we could buy some DVDs. She's like, yeah. You get home, download some episodes.
At the very worst, make friends with a middle-aged black family. And then
Just sit
every
down
day's
and
like the Cosby Show if he's a knowledgeable man who likes to eat hoagies.
Oh.
It's the same thing. The pudding pop, and if you can do that too, boom.
That'd be funny though.
It would
And
be pretty awesome.
So my girlfriend leaves out outside. She's like, yeah, we got to download some episodes or something. So she leaves to go play back outside with my son. And I take my phone and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put myself a reminder to do that, because at the same time, I wanted to download another show that I would think about. So I said, I'm going to put myself a reminder for tonight when we get home to do that, because I'm going to fucking forget.
Sure.
So I put myself a reminder on my phone for 9:15. 9:15, I'll get a reminder, download the Cosby Show, and I wanted to download News Radio as well.
Yeah, I watched them all on Netflix actually.
They're on Netflix?
Maybe it was the American one actually. It might have been when I had the American Netflix working.
Oh, I have to check.
Because I went through all of them.
I couldn't find them anywhere
I used to
online.
love that show.
Yeah, I found them, but it was packaged all together, and it was almost 20 gigabytes. I'm I don't want to download 20 gigabytes. It'll take me forever. So get home that night around 8:30. Totally forgot about the reminder. That's why I put the reminder.
Yeah,
right.
that's what they're for.
So we're sitting out on the couch. This is all forgotten. This whole Cosby Show thing.
Right.
We're watching TV. We're chit-chatting. My girlfriend is on her phone. She's playing Candy Crush. I'm sitting on the couch. And in my head, it's about 9 o'clock. So I look at my phone for some reason and I see it was 9:05. And I think to myself, I'm like, didn't I put myself a reminder to download something. Said, why didn't the reminder pop up? Because in my head, I thought I had put it for 9.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, maybe I put it for 9:15. So I kind of like, it comes in mind, and then I kind of immediately forget about it. I put my phone down, and then I pick up my phone. I was doing something else, and we're talking. And at 10 seconds before my reminder goes off, 9:15, my girlfriend, out of the blue, just like that, she's like, hey, how about, you said you were going to download the Cosby episodes. Do you want to download it right now? As she finishes her phrase, my reminder goes off on my phone. Bing. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
That's a coincidence.
Is it a coincidence though, or is it more than a coincidence? Because at no part did we share any information. She didn't know I put a reminder. It was just like the world kind of said, hey, at the same exact time as the reminder came up. I think it's to me, maybe I've been smoking more too much weed lately, and my brain is like on another level.
Littering
but
and smoking the reefer.
Yep.
It's I experience these things sometimes, and I go, this is more than a coincidence. This is more than a coincidence. Maybe that wasn't that extreme, but to me, it's something that reminds me that sometimes there's shit that just is too good to be true.
I don't know. I just take those situations like that. I just, I figure it's just a coincidence. I remember instances like, let's say you're watching a movie and you're like, hey, who's that actor? Blah, blah, blah. He's some new guy. Next thing you know, the next movie you watch, he's in it again. Like, what are the odds? The 2 movies back to back, I discover this new actor and he's in both. Things like that happen. I just figure it's a coincidence. It's
things like
everything's bound to cross over as far as timing is concerned.
Or you talk about a movie sometimes, and then that night it's on TV. You're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
What are the odds that movie's on sometimes?
Well, for the amount of times that shit doesn't happen, when it does happen, is it really that?
It's like a glitch in the Matrix to me.
All right, so this is where we're going into your simulation talk here, right?
I think it's a glitch.
This is your lead up?
It's like a deja vu. I think there's the simulation theory. A lot of people think that deja vu is like a glitch where it makes you relive certain experience that you've already lived before.
But didn't they discovered what deja vu is? Did they not? Do we not know what it is now?
Yeah. Is it like in your subconscious?
It's within that like half second. You think you're remembering something old, but it's just maybe it's like kind of like a glitch in your memory where it's like
there's a delay where it's like
you're able to there's like that half second delay, so you almost forget that half second happened. So you're like, hey, I remember that, but no, you were just thinking it a half second ago, literally.
Oh, okay. But
and it's
how often do you get deja vus in your lifetime?
I don't know, maybe once a month.
Really?
Maybe. It happens every once in a while. If that much. I mean, that would be...
I'd say maybe...
At most, I guess.
3 or 4 a year.
Really?
Maybe it's more often, but it's because every time it happens to me, I get blown away. I get so into the moment, I try to stretch it out every time. When I get a deja vu, I'm like, oh, this is a deja vu. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed when the deja vu is finished, you automatically forget about it?
Yep. Well, here we go. It may result from an overlap between the neurological systems responsible for short-term memory and those responsible for long-term memory. So, yeah, it's kind of like a glitch.
So it's like the transfer of information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory?
It says it resulting in memories of recent events erroneously being perceived as being in the more distant past.
Than there actually are. So it's kind of like, oh, this is going to be uploaded to your long-term memory from your short-term memory.
That's
so
it.
It overlaps. You're like, oh, wait a minute, I've lived this already.
Yeah, it's like, I remember seeing that woman wearing a red dress at exactly that street corner before. But no, it's just your brain. No, you just saw her. But
and
within that half second,
it,
your brain sent it to your long-term memory. So you think that memory exists long-term, but no, it literally just happened. I don't know. I sometimes go, no, but I'm sure I've seen that person before. I'm sure this happened before. I'm sure I've been in this situation before, but who knows? I don't know if they'll ever figure it out, but there's lots of different theories and stuff.
You know why I enjoy believing in I don't believe it. And like I said, I'm 17% convinced at this point that we live in the simulation theory. So it's not that much convinced. I'm less than a quarter.
That's not very convinced.
But
it's a very precise percentage.
But if you asked me a year ago, I might have been 9% convinced. Mm-hmm. And if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, you're out of your fucking mind and get the fuck out of here with that crazy theory.
You fucking hippie.
I was 0%. I was like, smoke more reefer, you motherfucker. But
But now
the more
you're
I read
Keanu in
into
the Matrix
this,
now. Your eyes are opening.
here's why. Here's my theory on why it's possible. Okay. Shut up. Oh,
Okay.
So you tell me shut the fuck up? No. Here's my reasoning why I think it's possible. Because if I take a look at technology as it is today, and how much it's expanded in the last, let's say 20 years. Let's say because technology has been crazy in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's exponential every year. It's
so if I take the last 100 years compared to the 1,000 years before that, there's so much expansion technology-wise in the last 100 years compared to the 1,000 years before that.
Yeah, well, they had the wheel. We've got the internet. Suck it, old timers.
So, and with the simulation reality that are becoming more and more prominent nowadays, my thinking is that the way things are going in this life right now, in this universe, in 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years, dude, technology is just going to keep expanding. If we don't blow ourselves up, it's just going to get crazier and crazier to the point that I'm going to be able to look at a computer simulation and I won't be able to tell the difference between the computer simulation and real life. It's going to be that good. I'm going to be able to play a game and go, holy shit, that's real shit. That's undifferent. So what's to say that hasn't happened already, where we already expanded to that point where we can plug ourselves into that thing and basically play a live version of The Sims.
Sure.
Say my life sucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get home and I'm going to plug my subconscious into this game and I'm going to play a simulation, and I play that simulation. Now that's possible, because I think in the future that's going to become a possibility where you're going to be able to play virtual reality as like a sim, where it's going to be so good.
Well, what was that shitty movie with Bruce Willis a couple of years ago? Surrogates? Where essentially everyone just stays plugged in. They don't even leave the house, right? You basically
That's right.
live your
I forgot
life.
about that movie.
Yeah. Well, it's because it wasn't very good.
I remember seeing a part of that movie.
But yeah, so you're kind of going, so I could imagine 200 years from now, who knows? I mean, considering I was laughing at myself. I was imagining myself as a 20-year-old the other day as I was trying to hook up with some chick via meeting her and then finding her on Facebook, and then she accepted my friend invite. Let's see if she messages me. And at 33 years of age, or almost, I'm thinking back going, my 20-year-old self right now is going, is this how you're trying to pick up chicks in the future? This is what I have to look forward to? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you idiots? Whether it's taking pictures of your fucking dinners and people walking around with headsets talking to themselves in the streets. It's just, a lot has changed in the last 20 years.
It's retarded.
I would not be surprised if 150 years from now we just get fed up and we have too much to do, not enough time, and we're too important and lazy that we just plug ourselves in and live our lives through simulators.
Yeah, because I
could buy.
I think the more we go along, even though technology expands and it's more awesome, because let's face it, I enjoy technology. I enjoy my smartphone.
Sure.
I couldn't live without this shit. But it's going to become so prominent that the regular life, those feelings and those emotions that you get from real life are going to be so bland that you're going to be plugged into this thing because you get a hard on from being on it.
Gotta unplug ourselves, man. Yeah. Unplug yourself before it's too late.
This is why I think the simulation, and I can even take it deeper. I think that we're 4 or 5, maybe more in depth. Because if you believe, like some people, if you believe in the simulation theory where you think that the human race has already gotten to a point where it's good enough with technology, and then we're all plugged in.
But who's running this?
That's the thing. It's the people. It's basically like let's say today, 2014, me and you, we start working on a project and for a virtual reality to make it as real as possible.
Sure.
And then in 50 years, we're still alive and we make it happen where people can go in, plug themselves in with a mask or one way or the other, plug themselves in and play as simulation as real life.
Yeah.
And that's what they do all day.
So what, you think people are playing us?
I think it's a possibility that
I'd like to think whoever's controlling me should probably get him.
But it's yourself.
It's
I
myself.
think it's yourself. I think that everybody... like I said, it's 17%.
My future self likes to jerk off or watch me jerk off a lot, apparently.
Well, it's trying to stimulate itself. It enjoys it. But anyway, it's crazy. Anyway, if you want to read more on it, you can just type in the Google simulation theory if you're a crazy like me.
I'm joining one of these hippie communities where they just open up, they live off the grid, self-sustainable communities. We're gonna boil our own water and drink it after it's been boiled.
Don't join one, just start one.
I'll start one and I'll make myself a god.
How about we buy a piece of land like 30 minutes outside the city or an hour outside the city. We start growing our own shit.
That's it, we'll grow our own vegetables. We'll disinfect our own water.
It's a bit culty though, if you think about it.
Cult is a term I think that has kind of lost its meaning over the years. I mean, what is a cult?
If I think cult, I think
who is a cult leader?
I think Waco, Texas. That's what I think.
What makes people cult members anyway? Who's to say it's not just a gathering, a group?
That's what I want to believe.
Of like-minded individuals who all believe in the same human God, right?
I don't believe in a human God.
No? Okay, never mind then.
I don't believe in a human God. I believe in a God, but I don't believe in a human form of a God.
No.
The universe controls itself. That's what it is.
The universe.
Anyway, that's my take on the simulation theory, and you can take it or leave it, but I'm 17% convinced, and at this time next year, I might be 26% convinced.
I once had an interesting theory while briefly high on salvia. You ever try that stuff? You get high for like 30 seconds?
No.
It's like a legal drug that you can buy. But it's not really a drug. It's like part of the mint
family. It's like a fake weed, no?
Yeah, it's part of the mint family, actually.
Apparently, if you take too much of that shit, it can fuck you up.
Yeah, you don't do that. You do that like once, just try it. It's pretty retarded. But you really feel like, you feel like Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing. Yeah, and that 30 seconds feels like 20 minutes sometimes. But basically, my big revelation was like, bro, we're like the atoms in these giant beings, and this universe is just comprised of giants that are so big that we're in them right now. We're just part of them. We're not even our own selves. We're an atom. Like an ant is to us, we are to them, man.
So you're part of a bigger being, which is part of a bigger being.
Yeah. We're like actually, we're within somebody's like body. DNA.
There's a lot of people that believe that.
Really? Because I thought that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, you tell me that and I don't go, my God, this guy, I want to kick this guy out of my house. You told me that 5 years ago, I'd have punched you in the throat. I'm like, shut up with that funky shit, man. But I don't anymore because I refuse to acknowledge and to believe in something concrete because there's so many fucking options and I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
What I know and I choose to believe in is the science and facts. You show me the facts, and if it's 100% concrete, I won't have a choice to believe it. I have to go with my gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So if you show me a book that was written 2,000 years ago about a guy that came to Earth and this and that same story appears in other cultures around the world around the same time frame, It's hard to fucking believe. I want to believe, but I don't. So I believe in my own shit. So I get what you mean. Salvia, you can get that shit around here?
You can buy it at High Times.
Okay.
You can like straight up buy it over the counter legally.
Have you ever tried DMT?
Nope. I don't even know where you'd be able to find that. I saw that. I watched some of that documentary on Netflix there with Joe Rogan. He was really...
The DMT, the something molecule, is that what it is?
Yeah.
He does it a lot. He did it, not done a lot. He's done it a few times. He did it a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He spoke about it on his podcast, on his most recent podcast.
Really?
Apparently the high lasts like 15, 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, it shoots you to like the middle of the universe. He explains it. It's like mushrooms times 1,000 plus aliens.
Plus aliens.
Yeah. It's like you smoke it because you can take it different ways.
Okay.
And if you smoke it, the buzz lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. So it skyrockets you to the middle of the universe, and you see all these geometric patterns and it revelations about a lot of things.
Oh my.
He explains it where he can explain how he felt in the moment, like, but when he's there, nobody's talking to him, but he kind of, the feeling that's what the information is being portrayed to him. It's all about love and about the universe. And it's like, apparently when you do it, even though it's your first time doing it, when you get to the high, you show up to the high and you go, oh, I've been here before.
Really?
Yeah. Because they say DMT is naturally produced in your brain.
Yeah.
They say the pineal gland produces that in your brain. The pineal gland, for people that don't know, is your third eye. It's in the middle of your forehead or in your brain.
Yeah.
And it apparently produces DMT. It produces DMT when you're sleeping. And apparently there's a secretion of DMT right before you die as well. That's why a lot of people experience the lights and the euphoria just before dying.
Really?
Yeah. And they've been testing this in rats and mice where they naturally produce it in their brain. So they think human beings can naturally produce it in their brain. So that's why when you smoke it or you inject it or you take it, you do a hit, whatever, you experience that 20 minutes, you show up, even though it's your first trip, you go, oh, I've been here before. It feels 100% familiar.
Wow.
And then you feel connected. It kind of connects you to the whole universe.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's so many.
I'd be down for that.
I think you know what I want to try that, and I want to go to the jungle and I want to do ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. What about
I want to do an ayahuasca trip. Not right
what,
now
what
in
about
my
peyote?
life. It's the same thing as ayahuasca.
It's
no,
the same thing. Yeah, I imagine it's probably one of those things where you just go on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, they say that it fucks. Like the first time I heard about it, when they tell you they blow the tobacco on you, and then after that they give you the brew, and then you puke and shit yourself. Okay. I'm like, who wants that?
Why would you want to do that?
That's what it does. It cleanses you, but then you trip like a madman, and you're in the fucking jungle. You're in the jungle, surrounded by spiders.
I was with you till the shit yourself part.
Yeah, apparently
you lost me at shit yourself.
It excretes all toxins from your body.
Oh, jeez, you're gonna be there for a while. I'm gonna be there for a while. Hold on, there's some more toxins coming. Hold on.
Apparently, you do a lot of puking, a lot of shitting.
It's about 18 years of debauchery in here. Hold on, it's gonna take a while. You might want to take a number.
But there's so many not studies, because let's face it, the government doesn't allow study on psychedelic drugs.
No,
but Frank McKenna, which is you heard of Frank McKenna?
Name sounds familiar.
He was a author and a famous tripper, and he was all into psychedelic drugs. Psychedelic. My mouth is fucked. My brain is broken, by the way.
Your brain broke? Yeah, you were talking about your concussion. Yeah.
It's messed up, man.
Really?
My headaches are gone, but I'm dizzy almost 100% of the time now.
Oh, fuck.
Like dizzy, like I'm looking at you right now and it's like, nah, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
That's because I'm actually spinning, bro.
It's like I'm on a trip right now, you know what I mean?
I'm spinning, not you, dude.
And he apparently, I don't know if it's him that said that, but is it? Why did I call him Frank McKenna? It's not Frank McKenna. Frank McKenna is the former Prime Minister of New Brunswick.
Is he?
Terrence McKenna. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Terrence McKenna. Oh. Terrence McKenna is an American philosopher, psychonaut, ethnobotanist, lecturer, and author. He spoke and wrote about a variety of subjects, including psychedelic drugs, plant-based, entheogens, and other things. And one of the things he said is that when people trip on DMT or on one type of drugs, they all go to the same spot. So when you trip and you show up on your trip and you're at the high, it's like all the other people that's ever tripped in the whole existence of universe. It's like they all get together at the same spot. So when you get there, you never feel alone. You apparently when you trip on certain substance, when you get there, it's like you feel surrounded by everybody that's ever tripped in their entire life, and you're surrounded by all those other experiences.
Wow!
So you're able to live That's why you feel so connected to the universe. When you come out, especially at DMT, it apparently gives you a revelation that it's like, wow, there's so much more than just this, right?
Yeah.
You're connected to the universe through so many other ways, and it kind of connects you. It's like a direct plug directly to the center of the universe. Hey, look at all this. You're part of all of this, including everybody else that's ever experienced this right here. And you're like, fuck. And then it lasts for 15 minutes. And then it shoots you right back down. And you're like, I want more of this right here. But then it doesn't fuck you up, apparently. Like, you don't go like for, it's not like a hangover. You know, it's weird. It's weird that when you drink alcohol, like me now, I'm 33 years old. If I go on a binge tonight, I'm going to pay for it for 4 days.
Yeah.
And that's like your body telling you, like, it's a weird thing, because I can smoke weed tonight like a madman, get high like a motherfucker. I can wake up tomorrow, feel a little bit cloudy, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. By noon, I'm 100%. I'm like, I can do anything I want. I can go training, I can do running, I can go jogging. But if I went on an alcohol binge tonight, I can barely get out of bed the next morning.
Well, yeah. Well, the physical repercussions are much different, right?
It's crazy how legal booze is, and how it's so available to everybody. But yet marijuana and other drugs are so not, and so illegal to people, when the repercussions are based. There's not one ever, no death related to marijuana.
Nobody's ever died as a result of marijuana unless they ate themselves to death.
Yeah. The LD50 or basically what it means is that the lethal dose, LD50, the lethal dose of marijuana at 50%. So 50% of the lethal dose that you would need to inject is like 1,500 pounds within like 7 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
That's 50%. The LD50. That's what you would need to inject to kill it. Nobody could ever inject 1,500 pounds of weed in like a short amount of time.
Well, obviously, no, that's a lot.
So you could smoke. You know, sometimes you do it, you smoke and you go, oh shit. But you've never taken it so far to the fact that you're gonna die. No. It's like eating an edible.
Yeah.
When's the last time you had edibles?
A couple of years, maybe.
Oh, was it at the chalet?
Oh, I had another time. I tried something interesting.
Did you always do it by brownie?
Usually. I had a different type of, it was edible. It was edible weed, but not made with food. It was essentially this kind of like weed oil that were put into capsules.
They call it dabs?
I'm not sure, but it was somebody who wanted to quit smoking it because just he didn't want to smoke. He didn't want to harm his lungs anymore. And he was looking for different alternatives. And he looked us up, and he would make his own stuff. And he basically would make little vials, and put them in little capsules, little vials. And he would just have that.
But it affects you differently, though.
Yeah, you get more of a body buzz, I guess.
Your liver, but when your liver digests the THC, it releases a different drug in your body.
Really?
It gives you a different high when you ingest marijuana compared to when you smoke it. But it's the same thing, though. I'm thinking about investing in a vaporizer because I'm like, I enjoy smoking marijuana, but this whole smoke in it can't be 100% good on your lungs.
No, for sure. And I mean, you're not a smoker already. So
yeah, I've done smoking. It's weird how I don't crave cigarettes anymore. You know, somebody asked me the other day, he's like, oh, you used to be a smoker? I'm like, yeah, I started smoking when I was 12, 12 years old, and I quit when I was 18. And I became a social smoker after that. Yeah. For the longest time, where I wouldn't really buy cigarettes. I would just smoke when I drink.
No, a chiseler.
Huh? A what?
A chiseler.
A bummer of cigarettes.
Chiseling smokes off of everyone.
Yeah. And,
excuse me, bro. Can I chisel smoke from you, bro?
Yeah. But and now I don't anymore at all. I don't have any interest either. It's weird, even when I drink or anything. So my lungs, So when I smoke weed, sometimes I go, man, I wish I could do it differently. Yeah. Vaporizer apparently basically removes all the toxins related to the smoking of the but they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're a couple $100.
Well, it depends. Yeah, they have the smaller ones, bigger ones, different temperature settings, lots of fancy different options.
Yeah.
It's like buying a car.
Something to look
Some of them even park themselves.
Like the Ford Focus, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Crazy.
Oh, man, all this hippie drug talk.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
What's going on here?
People are starting to think that we're just a bunch of...
I thought these guys talked about sports.
Yeah.
All they talk about is drugs. Drugs
Sorry,
and simulation theories.
All right, let's switch it to sports right away. Boom.
Boom, let's do it. Just like that.
I was watching the Milos Raonic. I was watching the U.S. Open, is what I meant to say, before you got here.
Yeah.
And Milos Raonic won. So Canadian tennis is on the prowl right now.
Yeah, man.
With Eugenie Bouchard and Raonic and all these, these only two, but still, I mean, they're in the top 10, both of them.
Hold on, speaking of Milos, remember this episode?
Too good. Another game for Milos!
He's a horrible tennis player. Jerry has to pretend he's really bad. This guy serves underhand. Another one for Milos. Yeah, but yeah, good on Milos. And Jenny Bouchard, she's still in there, right?
She's playing tonight.
In
the third round. Milos just won his third round match today, and he's going to the last 16. Is that quarterfinals, I'm assuming?
Yeah, quarterfinals, yeah. Oops, what's going on here?
You forgot to shut down your iTunes.
I was pressing back on the computer, and I went back to the previous video.
Yeah, it's good for sports, especially when it comes to Canada, because people like to think that Canada, we're all about hockey.
Yeah.
And a mutant form of football that even Canadians go, we don't really like this mutant form of football, to be honest. Because, god damn, man, how can a team go from being the best team in the league to probably the worst team in the league in the Montreal Alouettes?
How can a team with a losing record still make the playoffs is another question you can ask.
Well, that's what happens when you only have 8 teams in a fucking league. How can you make a league with 8 teams? How can you fucking make a league with 8 teams?
The entire Eastern Conference has a losing record. Did you know this?
Yes. Of course I knew this. I listen to TSN 690 every fucking morning.
God. The Owls, so what? The Owls are going to make the playoffs with a 2-7 records thus far?
They're second place.
They're in second place.
How about that?
Holy fuck. What an embarrassment.
It's fucking crazy if you think about it.
It's very crazy.
And what's this fucking thing about an expansion in the NHL?
Yeah, all of a sudden they started talking about that again.
4 fucking teams? Are you out of your fucking mind?
I think it'll be more of, I guess that's the long-term goal, but yeah, like seriously, things are good. You know, it's so stupid. We're making money. We're making money now, so let's fucking expand. And
there's already too many fucking teams, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, why can't we just let things play out the way they are? Things are good financially for the NHL. Why don't you just
leave it as is?
As is.
If I had it my way, I'd cut like 8 teams for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I'd bring it down to like 24, 12 and 12. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, you're going to add a team in Seattle? Let's name the cities that you got Vegas. Like, get the fuck out of here, Vegas.
I've been saying it for years, though. If it happens, I'll be the one who told you all first.
Vegas, Seattle,
Kansas City.
No, Vegas, Seattle, Toronto,
or Markham,
and Quebec.
And Quebec.
So they want, number one, they want to put another team in Toronto, which I get it. There's a market there.
Yeah.
Toronto is the biggest market in Canada, and they could definitely afford a second team. But Vegas, you think Vegas? It's all tourism. I guess it's like any team in Florida.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's 41 games. You think they can supply enough fans for 41 fucking games?
But it's making the splash of finally being the first pro team. I mean, if the NHL can,
in Vegas, there's no pro team. Yeah.
If the NHL can be the first, pro league to have a team in Las Vegas, I think it would be a big deal for a little while. Whether it would.
Nobody would want to go to play there.
I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting, but long term, I don't know. But it just seems like somebody should try it eventually.
Just to try it out. But it shouldn't be the NHL though. Of all fucking things.
Well, out of the big 4 in North America, or in the States anyway. I mean, if anyone, it's obviously the NHL that's
I
at the
think-
bottom of the pack. So if anyone's going to try it, I guess the NHL would be the guinea pig.
Well,
right?
why wouldn't it be the NFL? It would only have to be like 8 games a year.
Yeah, that's true. And you could just have it in their college and play the games in the college.
They
stadium.
already have a UNLV, which is the
Yeah.
University of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, football is big in the States. Definitely don't put a Major League Baseball team there. You got to play 80 games. Are you shitting me?
In the fucking desert.
Nobody likes to play there.
No. But Seattle makes a lot of sense. I mean,
You
Seattle,
think?
as far as the city's concerned, why not?
For hockey, yeah.
For any sport. I mean, Seattle's a great town, right?
Why
It's a lot
doesn't how about Milwaukee?
too close to Chicago.
You don't think that they already have an AHL team, though? The Milwaukee? They
Yeah,
have
the
a
Admirals, I believe, Milwaukee Admirals.
They have a professional team, do they? I just think that it's ridiculous that the NHL is thinking about expanding when it should be thinking about getting rid of
If anything,
teams.
it's relocating. I'd like to think that this is more relocating a couple of
Then
teams.
don't
rather-
call it expansion. Then
No.
fuck man.
Well, yeah.
let's name 3 teams you think can do better if they relocated.
Florida, New Jersey, Carolina, Buffalo,
The Islanders as well. I guess.
Islanders. Well, they'll be moving to Manhattan, right? So we'll see if that changes anything.
That's true. Are they going to be called the Brooklyn Islanders or the New York? They're still going to be called the New York
I think
Islanders.
it's still going to be the New York Islanders. I don't think it's
So
gonna
New
change.
York has the Rangers, the Islanders, and basically the Devils.
And the Devils, yeah.
But New Jersey, do they have a problem with attendance?
A little bit, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play a boring style of hockey too. Let's face it. In the last few years,
I think their arena is also like right in the middle of like a really bad area.
yeah.
Like exiting the arena can sometimes be a little daunting late at night.
As in like drive-by shootings.
As by you might get mugged on your way to your car.
But Christ, man, look at a team like Florida,
Yeah, the Panthers is just, it's a joke.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay also. I mean, they get by a little bit more, but
I remember when they won the Stanley Cup, they still couldn't sell out
Nope.
the arena.
no, I have friends' parents who vacation in the wintertime in their condo, and they go watch games for literally $25, pays for their parking, pays for their seats. They get a drink and a hot dog.
For $25?
$25. Like
Jesus Christ.
They have certain deals sometimes. They're saying it's ridiculous. Like you can't imagine, what we're used to paying to watch a game in Montreal. So that's why, I mean, all you see is Montreal fans when they play the Lightning and when they play the Panthers. It's all the snowbirds.
Yeah, a lot of Quebec people live in Florida, especially in the winter.
Yep.
I just think it
wasn't for them.
I just think it's ridiculous that a league with 30 teams, is it 30?
Yep.
Are talking about adding more fucking teams. I just think it's out of my mind. Like, because if you think about it, how about you take a bit less? You take some out.
Yeah.
Instead of expanding, instead of relocating,
Yeah.
just get them out.
Well, that leads into what we'll be discussing shortly is with the UFC. Let's get rid of some of the pay-per-views instead of tackling on so many more. Stop tacking on so many more every year. And how about we just get more to a more refined product that's not so overly saturated with garbage filler.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's transition into the whole UFC 177 fiasco, because it's utterly ridiculous, and it makes me extremely mad as a passionate fan of mixed martial arts.
It makes me feel like an idiot for somebody who's defended the UFC and MMA for well over a decade, trying to push this as a legitimate sport, and whether it was trying to get my dad to pay attention to it, and my dad will tune in when they have the and friends and whatnot. And then there's moments like this where my what the fuck happened to the show last weekend? Like, I thought I was supposed to get to watch this guy and that guy, and what the fuck happened? Well,
exactly.
This is what happens. Guys get hurt, and or they don't make weight now. Apparently, we have to worry about this again. Like,
weight on itself is another issue that has to be addressed sooner or later, where I think they're going to have to change how this is done.
Yeah. But back then you could say that. Now you can't, because sure, okay, one fight gets scrapped. They got to substitute one guy. But why does the rest of the card fucking suck nonetheless? Before the cards were so good that you could lose a fight and still say, well, we still got 5 awesome fights. I swear to God, dude, I was reading the the roundtable preview on 411 Mania, which is a site I like to check out, and they'll give you like, you know, they'll take a poll amongst their writers and editors, and who do they think is going to win the match. They'll do a nice preview. Everyone will type up a nice little article.
Yeah.
You know, a little paragraph about who do they think is going to win each fight. I'm reading, and I thought I was reading the previews for the preliminary fights. Only when it got to the main event did I realize, oh fuck, this is the main card?
Exactly.
This is I honestly, I could not believe it. What is Tony Ferguson versus Danny Castillo doing as the co-fucking main event?
Here's my question. Here's my question to you, exactly related to that point. Tony Ferguson versus Castillo, okay? Co-main event. Day of the weigh-ins, Barao, his balls go missing. Or what the fuck happened? You're fucking fucked. You got no main event. All of a sudden, you're scrambling. Oh shit, Soto, former champ. All right, let's move him to the main event. What would have happened if Soto wouldn't have been on this card? What would have happened if there was no replacement? Day of the weigh-in. Are you canceling a second event in a row? Because you've canceled 176 already. Are you canceling a second pay-per-view in a row? Or are you making the co-main event the main event fight, which is Tony Ferguson versus Castillo? There's absolutely no fucking way that you're selling more than 100 pay-per-view buys if you put Tony Ferguson. Nothing against Ferguson and Castillo.
Both fighters' extended family are the only ones probably ordering that pay-per-view.
No, they wouldn't, because they'd be at the fucking arena.
Extended family, I said.
Well, they would be like, I'm not paying $50, $60 for this bullshit.
I don't care if
I don't
my
like
second cousin.
I don't like you that much. But it's retarded.
Yeah.
Because it proves my point once again, and everybody's point, that if you look down the card let's look at the fights. And I'm a passionate mixed martial arts fan, and maybe people after this won't call me they'll call me a fake fan, but
they shit all over you on the Sherdog forums. They're telling those people to just, die in a fire. Die in a fire, you traitors.
If I look at the 3 fights before the co-main event, you got Yancy Medeiros versus Damon Jackson. I know Medeiros.
Yeah.
Is he a main card fighter? Whatever. I have no clue who Damon Jackson is. So Wikipedia seems to agree with me, because you can't even click on Damon Jackson. All right. Go. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia profile. In my opinion, if you're a UFC fighter and you don't have a Wikipedia profile, get the fuck out of here.
And there's 2 guys on the main card who don't have Wikipedia pages.
Exactly. If I was a promoter and I was stuck with, if Dillashaw was removed from the card, I would have put the women's fight as the main event before I would have put Tony Ferguson versus Castillo. Because I know that it would bring way more of an exciting fight. I know that the finish wouldn't be there, most likely, and it would be 3 rounds of 2 badass chicks just brawling it out for 3 rounds.
Sure.
The chances of having a boring fight between Tony Ferguson and Castillo and Beth Correa and Baszler, you got to go with Baszler. You got to go with the chick, because odds are the chick fight is going to be way more awesome than that co-main event.
Sure.
But you're still fucked. You're still fucked because you got a card now, a pay-per-view card with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights compared to 10 or 11 that you normally have on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There's only 3 fights on the prelims.
I know, it's really fucking sad.
Because they had to take away, Joe Soto was supposed to fight, so they took his fight away from the prelim. He went from fighting on the prelim.
Well, Scott Jorgensen was supposed to fight as well, was he not?
Yeah, and he was supposed to fight this American gold medalist wrestler that pulled out yesterday as well because he couldn't make weight. Cejudo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He didn't make weight. He wasn't even going to be close to making weight. So he said it was for medical reason. Dana White told him, he said, the next time you're either coming back to the UFC at 135 or you're not coming back at all. You're not fighting at 125. He's got a history of not making weight at 125, this guy. Yeah. And you're signing your first UFC bout, the biggest fucking company in the world when it comes to mixed martial arts, and you can't fucking make weight. There's somebody that I tweeted yesterday, a UFC fighter that tweeted, making weight is not a week of thing. It's a fucking lifestyle.
Yep.
If you want to fight at 155 or at 135 or at 145, it's a fucking lifestyle.
Yeah.
Don't walk around at 170 and then the week of go, oh shit, I got to fight at 135.
I better put down the Twinkies.
Yeah. Remember, Enan Barral is notable to being a big 135.
Yeah, he has a history of having trouble cutting weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last fight, do you remember his last fight against Dillashaw?
Yeah.
The weigh-ins, he looked like death.
Yeah.
He really did. And look what happened.
He's already not a very good looking guy.
You can't.
And when he's 20 pounds underweight.
Well, you can't deny that his performance is related
For sure.
to a bad weight cut.
Listen, he couldn't recover from one punch, and he was 2 steps back for the rest of the fight. And there was no coming back. And I mean, you're just mentally, I'm sure there's, other than being physically strained, there's got to be a lot of mental strain and exhaustion in cutting that much weight.
It's retarded.
I've never had to do it. You've done it, right? I mean,
it's
your head
mentally
cannot
the
be in the same
worst
place.
fucking thing in the world. When you're down to when you're down to 2 pounds and you're already, you haven't drank a fucking lick of water in 24 hours or 12 hours, you're just depleted and you're in a bad fucking mood and you can feel your heart pumping through your chest and you got to cut 2 fucking pounds and you got to weigh in. Oh my God.
How much body hair do I have that I can shave off? Maybe that'll work.
Doesn't fucking work, believe me. I have a shitload of body hair that I've tried shaving off, and
I was like a swimmer. I was like a swimmer, an Olympic swimmer, shaved down. Yet
but
still,
you see it more and more every pay-per-view or every UFC card where guys miss weight.
I know, but it's the same. I've been singing the same song forever. It's just how do you not learn? I mean, Vince McMahon was able to pull his own head out of his ass and realize that, okay, this whole pay-per-view every other week now.
Okay, back to the pay-per-view every other week. Yeah, fuck the weight cutting, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but it's all a result, right? Because if, like I said, if the cards were good, then if guys are pulling out at the last minute or having trouble cutting weight,
you have 3 backups.
You've got backups. Now, this issue's always existed, but now it's at the forefront because you realize that what else are we gonna watch now? Like what am I gonna spend $60 on? Fuck that. So Vince McMahon was able to figure out, after oversaturating the wrestling market, he bought WCW and whatnot, and he bought ECW, and he had everything.
It was a monopoly.
At his disposal.
He had a monopoly.
He had everything at his disposal, and he just fucked it up. But now he figured it out, and what is he doing? $10 a month gets you, on a yearly subscription, gets you every pay-per-view every month and an access to their entire library versus,
and that's what most
the
wrestling
network,
fans
right?
want, is to be able to view those old matches.
So I figured, fuck this. Why am I'm charging $50 and you're hoping that somebody will maybe buy a pay-per-view once or twice a year? Because that's the average person will maybe buy 1 or 2, right?
Pay-per-view is out the door soon, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, right now, yeah. Especially there hasn't been anything worth spending money on. But he figured out, you know what? Might as well have the guaranteed revenue of $100 a year, $120 for us here in Canada. Or, no, a bit more. Actually, it's $120 in the States because it's $10 a month. And here it's $12 a month.
Yeah, so it's 100 and something.
Makes a lot more sense rather than rolling the dice and hoping that one person spends $50 once a year. Well, you just got $120 in your pocket for this guy. And you know what? Whether or not the people buy it, the pay-per-view is still going to be on. So it's extra money and it's guaranteed money. So I don't know. The UFC's got this Fight Pass thing, but I mean, this is a card that doesn't even belong on the Fight Pass.
It doesn't even. It's not related to the Fight Pass, but it's related to the fact that some weekends you get 2 fucking UFC cards, one in Brazil, one overseas, and what the fuck? You have over 200 fighters signed to your roster. 5 years ago, if you had 100 fighters, you had 80 quality fighters.
Yeah.
You might still have 80 quality fighters, but you have over 200, 300 fighters on your roster. I'll give you a perfect example of why things back in the day worked. UFC 50. Do you remember UFC 50?
I don't. Not a. UFC
name
me the card and I'll remember it. But
was Tito Ortiz versus Guy Metzger.
Oh boy,
Metzger
you're going way back. Okay.
Guy Metzger had already beat Tito Ortiz. Okay.
No, as 50 was versus Patrick Cote.
But Patrick Cote was a replacement for Guy Metzger.
Oh, really? Okay.
Late replacement. Like 4 days, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So that was your main event. So here's a perfect example of UFC 50 because, hey, you got a guy pulling out the week of the fight, if I'm not mistaken, replaced by Patrick Cote, which is, I think, was his first fight in the UFC. Was it his first fight in the
I'll
UFC?
tell you right now. Let's see. UFC. We got to go back to, yes, first fight in the UFC.
He was
October
5-0.
2004.
He was 5-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was called up as a replacement. Canadian boy. He was a champion in TKO and this Canadian promotion.
Yeah.
Okay. Would have made it to the UFC probably without this fight at a certain point. But look at the main card. Here's the main card for UFC 50. So you got the main card. You got Tito Ortiz versus Patrick Cote. Okay. Which was supposed to be the main event, which I don't think it happened to be the main event. You also had George St. Pierre versus Matt Hughes, which was George St. Pierre's first title fight against Hughes, which he lost by armbar. Okay, and you had Rich Franklin versus Jorge Rivera, which UFC fans know who Rich Franklin is. He's a former champion. Yeah. All right. You get a welterweight fight with Frank Trigg versus Verissimo, which I remember Verissimo, but everybody know Frank Trigg.
But you know Frank Trigg, right?
Exactly. And you had a middleweight bout between Robbie Lawler and Evan Tanner, which was the opening bout. When you have a fucking opening bout between Evan Tanner and Robbie Lawler, and you got four massive...
Even the prelims weren't too bad there.
Ivan Salaberry against Tony Franklin.
And Luder versus Eastman.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But you had two prelims because back then prelims didn't air anywhere.
Exactly.
You only needed a few fights in case there's 2 or 3 quick finishes on the pay-per-view. All you need is 2 or 3 fights. You don't need prelims. All right? But then you look at a UFC 51, all right? And you look at the main card and you go Tony Ortiz versus Belfort for the lightweight, heavyweight belt, which Ortiz won by split decision. You got Arlovsky versus Sylvia. You got Evan Tanner against David Terrell. You got Pete Sell against Baroni. You got Bonatello against Justin Hellers. And look at that. They had 4 prelim cards. On the prelim cards, you got Nick Diaz versus Drew Fickett. You got Parisian versus Chris Lytle. You got David Loiseau versus Gideon Ray. And you had Mike Cal versus James Irving. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. The prelim of UFC 51 could probably be your main card on UFC 177.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
It's on track.
But, yeah, it's... And you know what? Each guy back then also had a personality.
They had a background.
Everybody, remember when... What I loved about UFC, especially when they started doing it right after The Ultimate Fighter, when they really, started, really going balls out with the programming and the pre-shows, you got to know everybody. You had a bio of every fighter on the card. Got his little preview, got his little 10-minute segment. The week before the pay-per-view, you get to know these guys, how they train, how they live.
Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore.
No, they're all interchangeable, generic mixed martial artists. Fine. I mean, now it's a new breed, right? Where they've been trained to be mixed martial artists. They don't necessarily specialize in anything, right? Yes. But gone are the personalities. Gone are certain style matchups per se. We don't really get that as much anymore, right? We're getting 2 guys that are going to go toe to toe, and all around fighters, and yeah.
I think to a certain point, when you get to a certain quality of fights, the fights are so boring because the 2 guys are just too fucking good.
Everything they do negates what the other one's going to do. Absolutely.
There's no matchup where it's like style versus style, where it's like it's going to be explosive. You're going to be a wrestler versus a boxer. It's who's going to be able? Is he going to be able to take him down, or is he going to be able to knock him out? Now it's like everybody's good at wrestling, and everybody's good at striking, and everybody's good at jiu-jitsu. Everybody's a fucking black belt.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, he's got a black belt. You've never actually seen him do anything, grappling related in the octagon, but he's got that black belt just in case.
Renan Barão is a black belt, but it was the last time you saw him grappling in a fucking UFC fight. Yeah. He's so fucking good on his. He was so fucking good. Now he's a guy that can't make fucking weight, and he's not even going to get a title fight the next time he comes into the UFC.
That I agree with. Dana said, he's going to have to get another win. before he gets a title
I never
shot.
really agreed with the immediate rematch of a fighter.
Yeah, it wasn't a flash KO. He got beat for 5 rounds.
Beat for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
He almost got knocked out in the first one.
But again, who's else? We talked about it at the time. Why is Dillashaw getting a title fight? There's just nobody else in that fucking division.
He was a replacement for an injury.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He was the alternative, right?
Yeah.
And I remember saying, well, I mean, wow. And we're laughing at the matchup at the time. Sure, I mean, he proved us wrong. But still, just to say that division is not deep.
I just remember the days where Liddell would main event a fight, and then you'd have another title fight as the co-main event.
Yeah.
You'd have Matt Hughes or George St. Pierre or whoever it would be. You'd have Liddell versus a guy he was bound to knock out.
And there's 3 more champions now, plus 4 with the women. So
Jesus,
how does that work, right?
So imagine take all the free cards away and stick to 12 pay-per-views a year. Mm-hmm. Okay, imagine every card how fucking stacked it would be.
It'd be like it used to be.
You'd have at least two title fights every 2 or 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah,
easily,
for sure.
Easily, you can match that shit up.
Listen, pay-per-view fights, every fight on the main card on a pay-per-view should be an important, significant fight.
Should be able...
Contenders, champions, feuds, rivalries,
Number one
fine.
contenderships,
If you're just going to sell it on some personal rivalry, if it's entertaining, I'll fucking buy the Wolf ticket.
Yeah.
I don't care.
For example, exactly. Either a personal rivalry, a number 1 contendership, or a title fight. That's the main card.
Yeah.
But now you got guys on the main card that don't even fucking know who they are. They don't have any Wikipedia shit that I can
That's the new standard now, by the way. If you're not on Wikipedia,
I used to do these videos online where I preview pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. I can't do that shit anymore because half the guys on the main card I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And I can't do my research because nobody has information on these guys.
No.
Half of them are from Brazil and half of them are from fucking who knows,
Fuck, Dana White's really trying to push this thing on Twitter right now, eh?
I'm curious to see the you remember after the prelims, you watch the prelims sometimes?
Yeah.
At the end of the prelims, like at 9:55, Dana White and Joe Rogan go in front of the camera and then they pedal the shit out of the main event and then they try to sell the challenger.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see tonight how the fuck are they going to sell this fucking shit tonight?
Yeah.
How are they going to push Joe Soto as a legitimate threat to Dillashaw's bantamweight title? They're gonna be like, we're fucked. Even yesterday, Dana White, you could see it in his face. He was just like, when guys were not making weight yesterday. I watched the weigh-ins yesterday.
He must have been
2 guys on the main card didn't make weight. They had an extra 2 hours. Oh my God. I was like, if I was Dana White right now, I'd be pissed. Are you shitting me right now? But guys don't give a fuck because guys go, you know what? I'll give my 20% because at the end of the day, the majority of the time, I'd put my hand in the fire right now that the majority of the time, the guys that miss weight are the favorite in the fight and they end up winning the fight anyway. So they get their win bonus and they just give it 20% to the other. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think you should do away with the fucking weigh-ins. I think there's many options here, but I think that if you walk around at 200 pounds, you shouldn't fight at 170.
No. So what do you think they should have day of weigh-ins?
Day of weigh-ins.
Is that's how it is in boxing?
It used to be, but now it's before.
No, it's before too.
The thing with that is that there's crazy fighters are so crazy, and I know because I'm part of that community. Yeah, we're fucked.
I mean,
so if you're gonna tell me it's weight, I'm still gonna cut weight. I don't give a fuck. I'm still gonna put my health in jeopardy. I'm still gonna. I don't give a fuck. I knew I had a concussion last week. You know what I did? I went to the gym. I went sparring. Yeah. And look what happened to me now. I can barely put a fucking sentence together.
You've been slurring like an 85-year-old.
I'm stuck at home because I fucking barely can walk right now because I'm so fucking dizzy. That's what we're crazy, man. But there has to be a point where we go, okay, fuck this weight cutting.
Yeah.
Do you know how many years off your life these guys are taken out of off their life just by weight cutting?
Well, I believe it, yeah.
Take Anthony Johnson for he's fighting at 205 right now.
Yeah.
He's a fucking beast at 205. He's bigger than the majority of the division.
His head is huge.
He used to fight at 170. How that guy made 170? I saw him.
He's the Barry Bonds of mixed martial arts. Is what he is. The before and after is just ridiculous.
I saw him once at he was in between fights at 170. He was 240 fucking pounds.
240 pounds.
Are you get out of your fucking mind? I cut to 185 and I walk around at 205.
Yeah.
When I get to 210, I'm like, I'm too high.
Yeah.
I'd like to walk around at 195, but I'm too fucking. I like food too much for that shit. I get the fuck out of here. I thought about cutting to.
I've always respected Matt Serra for that. You know, why don't you cut down to 145 or 155? He's like, I like to eat. I like pasta.
And
I like
pizza
pasta
all the time.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Sorry, it ain't gonna happen.
I like the carbs too much.
Yeah.
Fuck the carbs. It might take 5 years off my life, but at least I enjoy myself.
At least those 5 years were much better than they would have been if you were eating fucking, I don't know, kale all the time. I know I was gonna say kale, but you would actually do enjoy
eat
kale
all the time.
Yeah.
It sucks, but I do it because I know it helps my body. You know what I mean?
Hey,
you don't get these fucking pikes for nothing, motherfucker.
Hey, a fun fact: Joe Soto's lost 3 opponents. Don't have Wikipedia pages.
Oh yeah, and he's the Tai Chi fighting championship current 135-pound champion.
Yeah,
and he's the former Bellator 135-pound.
Yeah, but he lost that title to Joe Warren.
Yes. Oh, it's true. Yeah, that's right.
Formerly known as, well, I think he still does. He still go as the baddest man on the planet? What does he call himself? What does he call himself? He called the baddest man on the planet. Yeah, that's exactly his nickname. And yeah.
You know who I'm excited to see exposed is Eddie Alvarez that's signed with the UFC.
You think
he's gonna get exposed like a motherfucker?
I don't know. I like Alvarez. I don't think I'm expecting big things from him.
He's fighting Cerrone, so he's fighting a guy that doesn't wake up till like halfway through the second round.
Exactly.
And go, oh shit, dude, I'm fighting. I thought I was riding a bull right now. Oh fuck.
Did you hear all this controversy with the shit talking Bobby Green's done?
Yeah. Called him a racist?
Called him a racist and a womanizer, disrespectful, picks on...
I ain't even surprised.
No.
I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
He's a fucking cowboy. He's a redneck.
Does what he does.
Of course he's going to call you a nigger. Damn, what the fuck, man? I don't know if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised. So he groped a few women. What the fuck cares? He's a fighter that makes millions of dollars. He's going to grope a few asses. I'm sorry. He's probably... He's a cowboy that's used to groping shit. I'm sorry.
But Cerrone versus Alvarez, that's a good fight.
It's a good matchup.
And going to, I think this could lead us into Vinny's talk about our top 5 matchups, realistic matchups. I think right there, that's one right there. I think on a lot of fans, is they can cross off their bucket list, Cerrone versus Alvarez.
Well, I think any UFC fighter against Alvarez or any caliber fighter against Alvarez was a dream matchup.
Yeah.
Which, as the request of our longtime listener, Vinny No Filter, we're going to talk about our top 5 realistic fights that we'd like to see.
Top 5. Top 5. Top 5.
And you're right. Eddie Alvarez has been a top fighter for many years. Now he's signed with the UFC as a replacement for Cerrone, who I don't remember who he was.
He was supposed to fight Bobby Green, but then when they signed Alvarez, they bumped Bobby Green off the card and said, fuck it. Alvarez is fighting Cerrone, so of course Bobby Green wants to...
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, so of course he wants to do a little extra shit talking, wants to make sure he stays relevant. You know, the guy just got bumped off the card, so you kind of feel bad for him.
Oh, shit. I didn't
Yeah, so make sure you keep your name there.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Top 5.
We don't give a fuck about the UFC cards anymore because we can't rely on them until the day of.
Like, who's fighting today?
I don't know.
Who's fighting yesterday? Not the same people are fighting today, apparently.
Card is subject to change.
People can't make weight anymore.
Yeah.
Top 5 realistic fights right here, motherfuckers. Thanks for Vinny No Filter for bringing this up, and I think it's a great thing to bring up. And I mean, when I say realistic, it has to be realistic. It has to be makeable fight.
Sure.
It can't be Cain Velasquez versus TJ Dillashaw or Cain Velasquez versus Hendricks. It has to be a fight that we might see in the future.
Yeah.
Top 5. I got 5. I got a little bit more than 5, but I wrote down my 5.
I wrote down. I got 6 here actually.
You got 6?
Yeah. So I'll pick 5 out of these. You want me to start?
Yeah, sure. We'll go one-on-one.
One-on-one? All right. My first one, I love the heavyweights. I want to see Dos Santos Verdum 2.
Why?
Because I want to see if...
What happened in the first fight?
Well, Verdum got booted out of the fucking UFC as a result of getting beat by Dos Santos.
It was his first or second loss in the UFC.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't fair to Verdum getting fucking fired after that. He's made a name for himself, fighting
Yeah.
for the title soon, win or lose. Whether he's the next champ or whether he'll have to take a fight after losing to Velasquez, I want to see Verdum see if he can redeem himself against Dos Santos.
That's a good
As
one.
far as heavyweight matchups, let's agree there's not a shit ton of awesome heavyweights anymore right now.
Yeah, it's hard to match up heavyweights.
It's hard to match them up,
especially good quality.
But I
fighters.
think this would that would be an interesting fight, so I like that one.
All right, sticking to the heavyweights, one of my dream matchups. It's more of a super fight. It's a heavyweight versus light heavyweight, and it's a matchup that I think is an uninevitable. That is
Inevitable.
bound to happen.
Yeah.
And that's Velasquez versus John Jones. That's one of my super fights. I think John Jones is bound to make the move to heavyweight. He's a huge 205
It'll happen
pounds.
eventually, sure.
And I think he's been bulking up for years now.
Yeah.
He's way bigger than he used to be when he made his debut. I think it'll be a great matchup. It doesn't have to be for title, even if they're champions. I think if you make it for a title, you want to make it for the heavyweight title, because I don't think Velasquez can make 205. Velasquez is not that big of a heavyweight. It's easily
There's no way
smart
he can
matchup.
drop down to 205 with that frame.
No,
No
but
way.
he's not a 260-pound
No,
heavyweight
no,
either.
no.
And John Jones probably walks around at 240, 245
Mm-hmm.
easily. And I think if he were to bulk up, and it's a great matchup. I think it'll be a guy that in Velasquez that pushes the pace like a motherfucker as a heavyweight, and then you got a guy in John Jones that always tries to keep his range in as an advantage.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great matchup, and I think that's one of the biggest super fights to be made out there. So that's my number one top 5.
All right.
Number 2,
I want to see Alvarez fight Anthony Pettis. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see
That's a
Alvarez
good
get that
matchup.
title shot, and I think those two guys could put on a hell of a fucking show.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Alvarez is a good fighter. He's an exciting fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I think technically, that's why I think he might get exposed, is that technically he's might not be as sound as people think.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might get exposed, especially against a guy that's extremely technical in
Yeah.
Cerrone.
Yeah.
But you put Alvarez against Pettis, that's an explosive matchup
Yeah.
right there. Anybody against Pettis is
Yeah.
a good matchup, right?
For sure.
My
Except
number,
Clay Guida, unfortunately.
yeah, which he beat because he held him down.
'cause, yeah.
It's his first fight. Give him a break. First time fighting in the UFC is big for anybody. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, for
Especially
sure.
for a former champ.
No, and it's
former
coming.
WCW
I love
champ.
you. I love Guida. You know, the man can do no wrong. But in that fight, yeah, he got the win. But
Yeah, it was an ugly fight. Joe Silva didn't get up for that fight. If you know what I mean.
no.
My second fight also includes Pettis, but it's Pettis versus Aldo. I think that matchup was almost happened.
It almost happened.
It was
yeah.
signed, and then Pettis pulled out, and then ended up fighting Anderson and winning the belt. But it almost happened, and I think it's bound to happen if Pettis keeps that belt.
Yeah.
And Aldo defends against Mendez. After a while, there's nobody at 145 anymore for Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
So Aldo versus Pettis, that'd be an amazing fight. Two amazing strikers that probably wouldn't take any fight to the ground. Maybe Pettis would try to take it to the ground after a while, but that's an amazing matchup.
Yeah.
At 155,
Sure.
because I think Aldo also cuts a lot of weight, and he could easily make 155. He's bound to make 155.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, if he loses to Mendez in their rematch, here's what I think is going to happen, which I didn't. I think that if Aldo does lose
Mm-hmm.
to Mendez, he makes the move to 155, and Barral makes the move to 145.
And then yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you get Barral at 145, which would be easier cut for him.
Yeah.
And then you get Aldo making a fresh start at 155. Great matchups at 155 for him.
Yeah.
Great fucking
Oh,
matchups.
yeah.
So Pettis versus Aldo is my number 2 top 5 fantasy.
All
realistic
right.
fantasy.
All right. Next one on the list. These guys. Well, we mentioned Pettis. I've got another Pettis one. Just in case Alvarez doesn't make it to a title fight. Another really young, exciting fighter is Habib Nurmagomedov.
That Russian guy.
I have trouble pronouncing his last name.
Yeah.
Nurmagomedov.
That guy is a beast.
And I want to see him get his title shot eventually too. And I think another one. I mean, like you say, any matchup against Pettis is probably going to be an exciting one. But
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is pretty fucking exciting.
lot
He
of
makes me think of John Jones when he first started in the UFC.
A lot of people already have
suplexing
him as
guys and
champion.
dominating. So yeah, I want to see that fight happen eventually.
It's a great fight. A lot of people already have him as champion. They
Really?
already staple him as the future.
They really think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can stop his wrestling.
No.
He's a beast. These Russian guys, dude. I train with Russians on a daily
Yeah.
basis. They coach me.
Yeah.
Mentally, the strongest people you ever fucking meet in the world.
Yeah.
Mentally unbreakable. Seriously.
I believe it.
Yeah. So that's a great matchup. And yeah, my third one, I'd like to see GSP versus Chris Weidman.
GSP versus Chris Weidman.
Yeah. I think GSP, if he was ever to return, should return at sorry. Give me a sec.
Oh, something is unplugged. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Shit. Thank God my battery didn't die. On my laptop.
Oh, you have to plug yourself in. More plugging in talk.
Plug it in. Yeah, I think if GSP was ever to make a return, I think it'd be smart for him to just return to 185.
Sure.
There's so many matchups, and I'd love to see GSP versus Chris Weidman. Why? They both have incredible striking, but they're incredible wrestlers. And I think it's a perfect matchup to see who's the strongest wrestler. Because for years, people said that GSP was even though he never did any wrestling, collegiate wrestling, he was MMA the best wrestler in MMA for the longest time.
Yeah.
To time the striking and the wrestling, be able to transition from their striking to the wrestling.
Sure.
He was amazing. And Chris Weidman is a beast as a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a great matchup at 185. Obviously, Weidman is bigger than GSP.
Yeah.
Bigger, but I think it's still a possible matchup. If people spoke about Anderson Silva and GSP for years, I think it wouldn't be out of the realms to talk about Weidman versus GSP. I think GSP has a chance to beat Weidman, if you ask me. If he's able to, I think on the striking part, I think GSP is a bit better, and I think the wrestling might negate itself.
I don't think he's strong enough.
I don't think he's big enough. But dude, he's built like a tank. He can easily put muscle mass.
Yeah, but he's not a power puncher. He's never been a power striker.
No.
And I mean, Weidman's got to have a few inches on him.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
naturally,
I
he's
would
got
still
20
like
some
to
odd
see that
pounds.
matchup.
But yeah, good matchup. I've got Weidman on my list as well, but against the fellow 185er in Jakari Souza. That's who I want to see.
That might happen.
I've always been a fan of Jakar, and he was always known as a grappler.
Yeah.
But
The
now he's
striking is
really
amazing.
turned up the striking. So I think with this new lethal striking he's apparently adopted over the last couple years.
He's fighting next week.
Yeah.
Musasi.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight. Musasi, I've always liked him too, but I think he's just a little... the fanboys love Musasi, but...
I'm a huge fan of Musasi. I've been for years when he was in Strikeforce.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of his. I couldn't wait for him to come to the UFC.
Yeah.
He's a bit timid.
He's
Timid. He's not an exciting fighter, but he gets it done.
He's very technical, but
he's very... I don't think he gives it his all in his fight.
Well,
It's
at least
like,
that's what he looks like.
yeah.
He looks lackadaisical.
shucks.
Yeah. But, yeah. So I would like to see obviously Jakari's got to beat Musasi, but I think he will. And I'd like to see Jakari get his title fight
I think he
against
will soon
Weidman.
if he keeps it
Granted that Weidman beats Belfort too. We can't overlook that. Although I don't think Belfort's winning that one.
Yeah, Belfort is...
So that's number 4.
My number 4 is Uriah Faber.
Uriah Faber
versus TJ Dillashaw. I think the whole dynamic of teammate versus teammate can never be more apparent than this matchup because they're like brothers more than anything else. And I think there's that little bit of jealousy. I might be wrong, but I think Faber's been wanting to be UFC champion so bad for so many years.
Yeah.
And the fact that Dillashaw was able to beat a guy that's beaten Faber twice.
Yeah.
Plays in the favor of this matchup. And although
Bless your heart for wanting to give that man another title shot.
I don't give a fuck. I think Faber is in my opinion a top 10 pound for pound fighter, a top 5 pound for pound fighter. He's an amazing fighter.
He's amazing. Yeah, I mean,
It's hard at that weight division.
He can beat everybody but the champ. But anybody else, no problem.
I just like the dynamic between teammates.
Yeah.
I think it offers an advantage to Faber
Sure.
He brought Dillashaw in
Yeah.
to his family. Now Dillashaw kind of branched out with the Bang Ludwig
Yeah.
type thing, and then
Yeah.
Faber kind of doesn't interact with Ludwig, but still they're still in the same team. And I think if you're gonna have any teammate fight, if it's Rory McDonald versus GSP, or if it's this and that, I think that Dillashaw versus Faber matchup would most likely be more exciting. Especially these guys are style wise very similar, and it would be interesting to see mentally who would get the advantage.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's my number 4.
All right.
Who's your number 5?
My number 5, two guys that probably, maybe on the cusp of another title shot, but it'll be, they're working their way back up. At least Carlos Condit is, but I love watching Condit fight. And another guy who's kind of got himself on the better end of his opponent's last couple of fights, Hector Lombard.
Yeah.
I would like to see this new Lombard now at 170.
Lombard is apparently going to fight Woodley now.
Yeah.
They're teammates, but they're going to fight. It's a good matchup. Two explosive guys.
That's another good fight.
Your matchup is extremely anybody against Lombard.
Yeah.
Condit.
So Lombard, it seems like a given, right?
You know who
there's going to be fireworks.
Yeah. Do you know who I almost put as my top 5? Condit versus. I'd like to see. I didn't put him on my top 5, but just outside was Condit versus Benson Anderson. I think Anderson can easily make 170.
He's a thick dude.
He's a thick dude, and him against Carlos Condit would be
a fun fight.
Explosive fights.
Sure.
Nobody would be able to finish the other. I don't think. I don't think they have finishing powers, but I think it'd be a scramble all the time. I think you could see Benson Anderson trying to take down Condit and Condit reversing him and trying to keep it on its feet, and I think it'd be an interesting matchup.
Sure.
But it didn't make my top 5.
Yeah, no, and mine on the outside looking in was Cerrone versus Melendez.
That's another great matchup that we'll probably see at one point.
You might see that one down the line, yeah. That's why I tried to focus on really realistic, as far as where they are.
Well, that was the point, because rankings. You can make any fucking matchups. And my number 5 is Cyborg versus Rousey. I think everybody wants to see that matchup.
Yeah.
And I think you have to give it to, I think it's going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
It might be later than everybody wants, but it's bound to happen. If Cyborg is making 135, then why wouldn't you fight Rousey?
Yeah.
If you're planning on making 135 and able to make 135, you're making it for one simple goal. It's to fight Rousey.
Yeah.
And I think that would show the world if Rousey is really the best in the world, if she could beat Cyborg, which in my opinion, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Man. She is a different type of animal.
She strikes like a man.
Dude, she apparently knock her head clean off. She apparently spars with men and manipulates them in sparring, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Or from what I've heard.
I believe it.
Yeah. And another matchup that I'd like to see on the outside I didn't put, and he just fought on Friday and dominated. He won the 1FC welterweight title. It's Ben Askren. People think he's boring.
Ben Funky Askren.
And I'd like to see him in the UFC, and I'd like to see him fight GSP just to prove a point.
Yeah. My wrestling style, my funky wrestling versus your more refined wrestling.
I used to think he was boring. I still think he's boring, but he's no fucking joke, man.
No, the guy's fucking 14-0? 14-0. There he is.
So I think
he's got the short end of the stick as far as not getting a shot in the UFC.
Askren versus any top 5 welterweights.
And didn't Bellator just drop his contract? They didn't renew his contract
because he didn't bring any money.
He was champ, was he not?
He was champ.
He was still, he never lost. So
By the way, you know who I'm excited that fucking is back in the UFC and he won last weekend is Ben Saunders.
Yeah.
He fucking first omoplata in UFC history.
We forgot to mention that. I was always a Killer Bee fan. I'm super stoked to have him back in the UFC.
And he retweets my shit.
Does he
tweeted
really?
him and he retweets and favorites.
Nice.
He favored my tweets. So shout out to Ben Saunders out there.
Welcome back to the UFC.
I used to love him. That fight against Davis where he kneed him to oblivion.
Yes.
Best clinch in the game after Anderson Silva, in my opinion. And his grappling game, He's with Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo in his corner showing how to open plata. Get the fuck out of here.
I hope we can see a nice run from him.
Man,
I really would love to see that.
So. At least make his way up to the top 5 or something.
Well, I get in the top 10. Well, we'll see.
I'm excited. I was excited for him. I'm so happy he's back. So pumped up, man. Yeah. So pumped up.
Agreed.
What about fucking Bonner coming out of retirement?
That didn't last long. Bellator
ran out of money, obviously.
Yeah, Bellator's
he's a Hall of Famer.
Bellator's throwing a lot of money at him, I'm sure.
He's the first Hall of Famer, UFC Hall of Famer, to go fight for another. Wow. No, Ortiz.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, you can't forget about Tito.
But
that fight's happening, right?
That's why they signed him.
That's what's happening,
2
right?
UFC Hall of Famers fighting outside the UFC.
Yeah. How many times are you going to say UFC Hall of Famers in the Bellator ring?
Bellator is doing good things, but
Scott Coker's a smart man.
He's going to bring Bellator to the next level.
I think so.
But not to the level where it needs to be.
No, it'll never get to that level unless the UFC drops half their roster.
Which is not going to happen.
But it probably should.
They'll just keep putting shitty cards, and then we'll be stuck being forced to watch the UFC.
Yeah.
So
4:30. Oh, I got to make it to the store before 5, dude.
Yo, we're done.
I got some Saturday shopping to do.
UFC. Sorry, what did I say? So that's it.
So who your prediction? Who wins, Sato or Dillashaw?
Dillashaw,
TKO. Fucking Dana didn't answer my tweet. He posted the odds for the fight. I replied to him, what are the odds anyone actually pays for this fucking card? Didn't answer me. Surprise, surprise.
I think Dillashaw TKOs him in the 3rd round.
3rd round? You're giving Soto 3?
Done.
I'm going with upset of the year.
Soto
wins.
Good for you. I wouldn't be surprised. Dillashaw's not ready for a guy like him.
No,
he doesn't even know who he probably
has no idea. He's like, I'm going to be on YouTube. Let me just see some of his fights.
Oh my God, this guy.
I don't know. I'm saying upset just for the fuck of it because, hey, why not? Let's hope something redeeming comes out of this fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, why not? It'd be the Rocky story of the year.
There you go.
So that's it. Episode 24 of the Modern Maverick Podcast is fucking done. So thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Check us out on iTunes, the Modern Maverick Podcast. Check us out on SoundCloud, the Modern Maverick Podcast, and on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a lonely 18 subscribers right now. Please tell your friends, your family, your enemies, everybody. Just tell people to love us. I believe we are the greatest podcast on the internet that nobody knows about now. So, that's our thing right now. We are the best podcast online that nobody knows about yet. We're taking over. The Modern Maverick Podcast is taking over little by little. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mistress, as Vinny Filter would say. And tell everybody. This is not
a simulation.
This is not a simulation. You're absolutely right. This is not a simulation. This is real life, motherfuckers. Tell everybody about the Modern Maverick Podcast. www.modernmaverick.net, where you can get all your information on where you can find us. Check us out there. Check me out on Twitter at STEPHPAULIN, Steph Paulin. And check out my boy over here at JFlynn MTL and Twitter. So we're done for this episode. Check us. Hopefully we'll get around next week to getting another episode to you guys. And
big 25
number
week.
25, quarter century next week. Ooh. We'll do it big times. All right, guys. Thanks for listening and much love. And we'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Ciao.